broke that Steve Harvey was sleeping with Diddy for over 20 years? But this is where it gets weird. Because not only is his own daughter involved, but he was caught hinting at the entire situation years ago.
Steve Harvey allowed Sean Combs to date Lori Harvey, his stepdaughter, in order for freak-off footages not to be released.
My hidden talents really can't be discussed on national television because it involves excessive amounts of baby oil.
Stop scrolling and grab a seat, because what Katt Williams just uncovered makes the Kardashians' most dramatic family feud look like a quiet tea party. Yes, the man who can roast a room faster than a flamethrower just dropped a revelation so wild, so insane, it's shaking the very foundations of Hollywood gossip, a secret connection between Steve Harvey and Diddy and the internet. It didn't just notice it erupted. This isn't casual networking or a friendly handshake. This is backroom maneuvering, influence trading, and power moves so tangled they make The Godfather look like a preschool playdate. One minute you think you know the entertainment world. The next Katt peels back the curtain, and suddenly, everything looks different. Every handshake, every photo, every collaboration suspiciously strategic. Fans are gasping, haters are howling, comment sections are combusting like fireworks on New Year's Eve. And everyone is asking the same question: what does this connection actually mean? Because when two titans of music, comedy, and media are linked in ways no one expected, the implications are messy, dramatic, and let's be honest, perfectly viral. This isn't rumor. This isn't gossip. This is a revelation. And once you hear how Katt exposed it, you'll never look at Steve or Diddy the same way again. The revelation didn't land quietly. Katt Williams has always had a sixth sense for drama, the kind that sees the invisible lines connecting people, money, and influence before anyone else notices. And this time, he didn't just spot it. He announced it in a way that made the internet collectively stop scrolling. A secret connection between Steve Harvey and Diddy, two of the biggest names in entertainment. Two men whose influence stretches far beyond what we see on the surface, suddenly went from whispers to headlines. It began with Katt's casual comments during a recent interview, the kind of remarks that seem harmless until you replay them. He talked about events, backstage encounters, and meetings where Harvey and Diddy's paths intersected in ways that most people would never notice. But the delivery wasn't subtle. It was precise, sardonic, and dripping with implication, as if he were daring viewers to figure out what he really meant. When someone like Katt speaks in that tone, it's not exaggeration, it's a breadcrumb trail. And the internet loves to follow breadcrumbs into chaos. Fans immediately began connecting the dots. Old interviews resurfaced, joint appearances were dissected, and photos that once seemed ordinary were now interpreted as strategic signals. A casual handshake or a shared laugh suddenly looked like a carefully choreographed exchange, evidence of a deeper relationship. Every post, every anecdote, every public interaction was scrutinized. People began asking, why now? Why hasn't anyone noticed this before? And most importantly, what does it really mean for the entertainment world? The magnitude of the connection is hard to overstate. Steve Harvey is the king of timing, the master of public perception, and a man whose influence in television and media extends beyond hosting duties. Diddy is a mogul, a tastemaker, and a networker whose reach touches music, fashion, and corporate influence alike. Put them together, and you have a combination that could move narratives, trends, and even careers without ever releasing a statement. Katt's revelation suggested that this wasn't coincidental. It was calculated, it was deliberate, and it was hidden in plain sight. The timing of the revelation added an extra layer of intensity. Both Steve Harvey and Diddy were already in the public eye, Harvey for his talk shows and comedic influence, Diddy for his latest business ventures and music collaborations. To drop a secret about their connection in such a charged environment was like lighting a fuse in a fireworks factory. Social media exploded almost immediately, with fans, critics, and industry insiders speculating about the nature of their relationship. Was it purely professional, strategic, or something far more influential that most of us could never imagine? Within hours, the narrative had taken on a life of its own. Fans and detractors alike debated endlessly. Social media threads turned into detective boards, with screenshots, old footage, and interviews being analyzed frame by frame. Every handshake, every shared smile, every co-attendance at charity events was suddenly suspect. Even minor interactions from years ago were re-examined, as people tried to reconstruct a timeline that might reveal the full extent of the connection. Katt didn't provide a neat explanation. That's not his style. He thrived on suspense, leaving gaps that forced speculation. And the gaps were perfect. They allowed the internet to run wild, fueling conversations, memes, and debates. People began to wonder about the broader implications. How much influence do these two really wield together? How many trends, decisions, or moves in the industry were subtly guided by their collaboration? Every question sparked more questions, and the cycle intensified. Critics quickly weighed in. Some accused Katt of exaggeration, suggesting that he was simply stirring drama to maintain relevance. Others insisted there had to be substance behind his claims. pointing to old patterns of collaboration between high-profile entertainers and moguls. Regardless of belief, everyone agreed on one point: the revelation was too juicy to ignore. The memes came next, naturally. Photoshop montages placing Harvey and Diddy in spy scenarios flooded timelines. One particularly viral meme compared them to secret agents from a slick action movie, trench coats and all, maneuvering behind the scenes while the public remained oblivious. Humor mixed with suspicion, as people laughed while simultaneously reconsidering every interaction they had previously dismissed as coincidence. The absurdity only amplified the intrigue, because when humor meets mystery, virality follows. Then came the analysis from industry insiders. Podcasters, bloggers, and YouTube commentators dissected Katt's remarks, attempting to provide context and predict implications. Some argued that Harvey and Diddy's collaboration explained certain trends in comedy and music over the past decade. Others suggested the connection could influence upcoming ventures in entertainment, from TV projects to music releases, shaping the industry in subtle but significant ways. Every theory added more layers to the narrative, making it impossible to follow without multiple browser tabs open simultaneously. The general public wasn't just observing, they were participating. Fans speculated about every public appearance, trying to decode hidden meanings. Casual viewers scoured old footage, rereading interviews with a newfound perspective. Even seemingly insignificant moments, like shared charity events or joint photo shoots, were now interpreted as pieces of a strategic puzzle. What once appeared random now seemed orchestrated, adding weight to Katt's claim. Katt's own presence amplified the drama. His delivery, blending humor with razor-sharp sarcasm, made every revelation feel urgent. He didn't need to shout. The cadence and timing of his speech did all the work. His audience was left hanging on every word, trying to piece together a secret world of influence that most people only glimpsed in passing. And because Katt has a reputation for accuracy mixed with exaggeration, viewers couldn't easily dismiss him. The tension built like a slow drumbeat, inescapable, unsettling, and utterly compelling. By the time social media had fully digested the revelation, the story had spiraled far beyond Katt's original comments. Hashtags were trending, discussion forums were flooded, and every mention of Harvey or Diddy now carried an undertone of suspicion. Even casual observers were aware something significant had been unveiled. The public narrative had shifted from casual admiration to curious scrutiny. Old clips of Steve Harvey interacting with Diddy resurfaced instantly. Footage of award shows, interviews, and public events was dissected frame by frame. People tried to spot subtle nods, gestures, and signals that might hint at the depth of their connection. Every handshake became symbolic. Every laugh shared in public carried hidden weight. It was as if Katt had handed the public a magnifying glass and dared them to find the patterns everyone had missed. And the timing couldn't have been more perfect for virality. Both figures were in the middle of significant projects. Harvey with his shows and media ventures, Diddy with music and entrepreneurial activities. Dropping the revelation now maximized impact, ensuring that curiosity, skepticism, and amusement would collide in a perfect storm online. Social media chatter surged, with clips of Katt's interviews circulating faster than any official statement could be made. By the end of the day, Katt Williams' revelation had done more than just shock viewers. It had shifted the lens through which the public viewed two of the biggest names in entertainment. Suddenly, nothing seemed coincidental. Every collaboration, every appearance, every interaction could be interpreted as part of a larger, hidden strategy. The world of entertainment suddenly felt less like a series of independent events and more like a complex web of influence, one that Katt had boldly pulled back the curtain on. The first reactions were immediate. Fans expressed disbelief, excitement, and curiosity all at once. Comment sections were ablaze with speculation, debates, and memes. Some demanded proof. Others assumed the connections were obvious and had simply been ignored. Industry insiders quietly nodded, recognizing patterns that the general public had only just begun to notice. And throughout it all, Katt's delivery ensured that every word felt intentional, precise, and impossible to ignore. By the time the dust settled on the initial revelation, the landscape had already changed. Conversations about Steve Harvey and Diddy would never be the same. Public perception, fan theories, and media narratives had been permanently altered. The story was no longer just about comedy or music. It was about influence, strategy, and power behind the scenes. And Katt Williams had just handed the world a front row seat to the spectacle. The implications were massive. What started as a simple revelation quickly expanded into questions about control, alliances, and hidden networks in entertainment. How many trends had been subtly guided? How many collaborations were influenced by unseen forces? And most importantly, what does this mean for upcoming projects and public interactions? Even as discussions spread, one thing became clear. this story was far from over. Every revelation opened doors to new questions. Every clue led to speculation, and every reaction from fans or celebrities only fueled the fire. The intrigue created by Katt Williams wasn't a fleeting moment. It was a narrative engine designed to keep viewers engaged, curious, and, most importantly, talking. By the end of this initial storm, it was undeniable. Katt Williams had unearthed more than just a connection between Steve Harvey and Diddy. He had exposed a thread that could weave through decades of entertainment, influence, and hidden collaborations. And once you start pulling at threads this large, you don't get to stop. This was only the beginning. The public's curiosity was now fully ignited, and the next moves, reactions, and revelations would be even more explosive. The stage was set for an unprecedented unraveling of secrets, drama, and revelations that could change how we view the entertainment industry forever. The revelation wasn't just shocking, it was transformative. And in Katt Williams' world, once you expose a secret this wild, there's no going back. The moment Katt Williams dropped his revelation, the internet went into overdrive. What began as hushed whispers and careful speculation exploded into full-blown chaos. Memes flooded timelines faster than a viral TikTok trend, and every social media user suddenly became an amateur detective, analyzing every handshake, every laugh between Steve Harvey and Diddy like their lives depended on it. Humor and suspicion collided in ways that were equal parts hilarious and unsettling. Celebrity reactions arrived with the subtlety of a covert operation. Nobody came out directly denying or confirming anything. Instead, we got cryptic posts, emoji-filled captions, and vague statements about timing and energy. The ambiguity sent fans spiraling. Subtlety like this only works if you know people are watching, and, oh, were they watching? Influencers speculated, radio hosts theorized, and podcast commentators dissected every frame of video footage that existed, making predictions as if they were part of a secret council deciding the fate of the industry. Memes took the spotlight next. The internet's imagination ran wild. Photoshop montages placed Harvey and Diddy in spy thriller scenarios, trenchcoats, sunglasses, the works. TikTok edits paired Katt Williams' voice with cinematic cuts of both moguls, complete with dramatic captions like, "When legends move in silence, the game changes." Fans laughed, but beneath the humor was a creeping unease, because suddenly every public interaction started to feel like part of a hidden narrative. The twists didn't stop there. Some insiders hinted at past events being orchestrated behind the scenes. Charity events, award shows, and collaborations that seemed purely coincidental were suddenly framed as subtle moves in a long-running strategy. Twitter threads dissected clips of award shows, noting micro-expressions, body language, and timing that could suggest hidden alliances. Fans debated endlessly. Was this genuine partnership, calculated influence, or some hybrid of both? As the speculation intensified, the stakes became absurdly entertaining. Pop culture analogies flew freely. Some likened Harvey and Diddy to chess grandmasters manipulating pawns on a board nobody else could see. Others compared them to Marvel villains with secret agendas, quietly directing the fate of Hollywood while the public remained blissfully unaware. The comparisons were exaggerated, ridiculous, and entirely addictive, perfect fuel for virality. OTF supporters, usually loud and brash, suddenly shifted into measured commentary. Instead of chest-thumping declarations, they posted subtle affirmations, reinforcing the idea that this connection was powerful, strategic, and intentional. That restraint alone amplified the tension. When someone who is normally explosive suddenly exercises caution, it signals that something serious is happening behind the curtain. Critics, meanwhile, reeled in confusion. Those who had confidently declared Katt's claims as exaggeration were forced to slow down. Vague statements, deleted tweets, and edited posts hinted at second-guessing, as if the magnitude of the revelation demanded a recalibration of narrative. When the loudest voices in the room hesitate, it's a clear sign the game has changed. Public outrage and curiosity mixed in an unprecedented way. Comment sections erupted with debates that were as much about morality as they were about entertainment. People argued about influence, power, hidden agendas, and whether public perception had been manipulated all along. Some accused Harvey and Diddy of running secret operations behind the scenes. Others insisted it was just clever networking that the internet had turned into a conspiracy theory. Either way, the energy was electric. The pace of speculation created a feedback loop. As memes, videos, and commentary spread, more clips surfaced. Many pulled from old interviews or social media posts that had previously gone unnoticed. Every appearance now carried new weight. The public started to reinterpret old footage, finding hidden meanings in previously mundane moments. An innocuous handshake could now spark hours of analysis, making every interaction seem loaded with intent. Katt Williams' commentary style fueled the frenzy. His sardonic delivery and carefully chosen words made every statement feel urgent. He didn't shout. He let the implications hang in the air, which forced viewers to fill in the blanks themselves. And as anyone who follows Katt knows, those blanks are rarely benign. They invite wild speculation, and the internet obliged. Fans became sleuths, Commenters became analysts. The story grew exponentially, feeding on itself. Even traditional media couldn't resist. Articles dissected Katt's claims, often with headlines that amplified suspense. Katt Williams hints at hidden alliance between Steve Harvey and Diddy, or is Hollywood being quiet about a secret connection? Every piece drove further attention, ensuring the conversation wasn't limited to social media but permeated mainstream outlets. The story had transcended comedy and gossip. It was now cultural analysis. Entertainment, politics, and speculation rolled into one viral package. Reactions among the general public ranged from amusement to alarm. Some laughed at the sheer absurdity, comparing the revelation to a superhero crossover that nobody asked for but everyone couldn't stop watching. Others leaned into fear of manipulation, pondering the extent to which behind-the-scenes players might shape trends, awards, or careers without the public realizing it. The emotional spectrum only added to the virality, the more intense the reaction. The faster the spread. By this point, every minor detail mattered. Social media posts, interviews, and even casual public appearances were scrutinized frame by frame. The internet treated each new piece of content as potential evidence, creating a collective obsession with deciphering the narrative. Each twist, each cryptic comment, each coincidental interaction became part of an expanding web of intrigue. Through it all, Katt Williams' influence remained undeniable. His reputation as a truth-teller, or at least a provocateur who exposes uncomfortable realities, meant that audiences took every word seriously. People didn't just consume his commentary, they analyzed it, shared it, and debated it endlessly. By putting Harvey and Diddy in the spotlight of suspicion, Katt had transformed casual observation into full-blown investigation, and the tension didn't dissipate. If anything, it intensified. The combination of celebrity silence, strategic ambiguity, and the public's hunger for answers created a perfect storm. The story no longer relied on Katt alone. It became self-sustaining, feeding on memes, speculation, celebrity reactions, and media coverage. Every reaction only validated the importance of the connection, magnifying its perceived significance. At this stage, one thing was certain: this was more than a revelation, it was a phenomenon, and the next steps, how Harvey, Diddy, and their circles responded, would determine whether this became a fleeting viral moment or a long-term narrative that reshaped perceptions of influence, power, and alliances in entertainment. The story had evolved into a living, breathing entity. Memes, speculation, and commentary ensured that every public appearance by either Harvey or Diddy was now dissected in real. Every handshake, every smile, every mention was now interpreted as part of the secret network Katt had unveiled. The tension reached its peak when insiders started hinting at additional layers of connections. Not outright confirmation, but cryptic statements that suggested there was more lurking behind the scenes. The public, hungry for answers, assumed the worst, or at least the juiciest possibility. Speculation multiplied faster than it could be verified. Through this whirlwind, one thing remained clear: the narrative was no longer just about comedy or music. It was about influence, control, and strategy. Harvey and Diddy, two men whose careers have been meticulously managed and public perception carefully curated, were suddenly reframed as central players in a hidden game. Katt Williams had shifted the focus, and the world was watching and guessing every move. By the end of the escalation, the combination of Katt's revelation, memes, celebrity reactions, and media coverage had transformed a subtle connection into a full-blown cultural event. The story wasn't just trending, it was living, evolving, and forcing the public to reconsider everything they thought they knew about the entertainment industry. The intrigue had multiplied, the stakes had grown, and the suspense was now tangible. Every interaction between Harvey and Diddy became a puzzle piece. Every comment a potential clue, and every meme a weapon in the ongoing conversation. Katt Williams had started a wildfire, and the world was watching it burn. Alright, if you've made it this far, then you've already got the inside scoop on ya. Now it's your turn to get even deeper into this rabbit hole. Smash that like button like it owes you money, because this scandal didn't just drop, it detonated. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button too, because, trust me, the drama isn't stopping here. We're only getting started, and now I need to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about Katt's revelation? Is this a case of Hollywood secrets finally coming to light, or is Katt just playing us all like a fiddle? Do Harvey and Diddy really have some deep connection we've never noticed? Or is this just one wild conspiracy that's making all the right waves? Drop your theories, your wildest thoughts, and don't hold back. I know you've got something to say, let's hear it. And remember, Viral Trek isn't about waiting for stories to happen. We make the stories. We make sure you're always in the loop, uncovering the secrets, the drama, and the jaw-dropping moments that everyone else is too scared to talk about. So, hit the bell notification too, or you might miss the next game-changing scoop that everyone's going to be whispering about. Because the only thing better than a juicy secret is knowing you got it first. This is Viral Trek, where secrets don't stay hidden, truths get exposed, and the next big scandal is already in the works. Stay tuned for more. Don't just wait for the drama. Be the drama. Be the drama.